Want to double your email flow revenue? Here's how. And what I'm going to be covering in this video here is going to be the browse abandonment flow, which the majority of the brands where I audit their Klaviyo either don't have this set up, or the ones who do have it set up pretty poorly, to the point where they're leaving tons of sales on the table. So what I'm going to be covering is the optimal strategy and structure to maximize your conversion rates. And as you can see right here, this is the Klaviyo of one of our brands, and this is their browse abandonment flow. They're doing 52K per month from this flow alone. So let me show you how you can get similar results for your brand. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Max Alexander. I'm the founder of Skyroad Digital, a retention marketing agency that manages 40 plus brands. All right. Part one, what is the browse abandonment flow? So the browse abandonment flow is triggered when someone views a product on your website but doesn't add anything to their cart. So as you can see right here, this is the funnel that every customer to your store goes through, from, opting into your email list, coming from paid ads or an organic post. They opt into your email list, and then they're either active on site and view a product, or they could leave the page. If they leave a page, then they are followed up at this stage with the site abandonment flow. But here is where the browse abandonment comes in. So they view a product, and if they don't add any products to their cart, so if they leave before completing this stage, this is where the browse abandonment flow comes in. All right. And then, you have your add to cart and started checkout, which are different flows. And then you have people who place an order to become a customer. Those all have different flows. But this one, we're talking about the viewed product stage. And at this stage, recipients are window shopping between you and your competitors. So we primarily want to focus on separating ourselves from the competitors. So that's going to be sort of the main marketing angle on some of these flow emails. So the structure of the browse flow will be similar to the cart and checkout flow, but the main differences are the trigger, which is, we just discussed, is somebody viewing a product but not adding anything to their cart. Dynamic product block, which dynamically shows the last product that they were viewing instead of the items in their cart, which it would show on the added to cart flow. And call to action button, which links to the product that they were viewing instead of the cart/checkout page, which would be true for the cart or checkout flow. So those are the primary differences. Part two, the browse abandonment flow strategy. So the first thing we need to do is plan out the emails we're going to be creating. So here's the strategy that we found to consistently convert the most recipients into new customers. Typically, it's going to be 4 emails long, and the optimal content strategy is going to be reminder on email 1, followed by a small offer to people who don't purchase right away, big offer, followed by big offer plus urgency. All right. So basically, anybody who adds items to their cart is removed from the flow and put into the abandoned cart flow, which triggers if they abandon their cart before completing their purchase. Basic idea of this flow is to incrementally increase the offer and urgency to convert each recipient at their maximum price. So for instance, we don't need to show the big offer to people if they're going to convert on email 1 and they just needed a reminder, but they otherwise would have purchased at full price. All right, so here's a visual of what that looks like. All right, so we have email 1 followed by email 2, and basically it gets incrementally giving them a better offer, plus also increasing the urgency as they go deeper into the flow. Email 1, no discount, just a reminder. Time delay is anywhere from 30 minutes to 2 hours. This is something you could A/B test on Klaviyo. Email 2 is going to be a small discount, for example, 10% off or free shipping. Time delay, which, is 24 hours minus the time delay from email 1. So for instance, if your time delay on email 1 is 30 minutes, you would make the time delay before email 2 to be 23 hours and 30 minutes. Email 3, time delay is going to be 24 hours. And this one is going to be a larger discount. For example, if you did 10% off on email 2, you're going to be given 15% off on this one. Email 4 is going to be the same discount as email 3. The only thing we're doing here is just reminding them of that discount, but also telling them that it's expiring in the next, 24 hours. Time delay here should be 24 hours. All right, part 3, email structure. All right, and the optimal email structure for the browse flow is going to consist of these elements here, which I'm going to show you in a second. But essentially, just reading them off right here, it's going to be hero image plus header at the top, offer if applicable, dynamic product block right below that, call to action button below the product block. That should dynamically link to the product page of the last product that they're reviewing. I'll show you how to set this up here in a second. And then below the call to action button, then you're going to put in your sort of persuasive sales content, which is going to be your product education, unique value propositions, pain points plus solutions, or social proof. So let me show you an example from one of our clients. So as you can see right here, logo at the top, hero image plus headline, basically just telling them what the email's about. In this case, it's like, hey, did you see a product that you were looking for or see something that you liked? Dynamic product block, it's going to dynamically load the last product that they were looking at. And you set that up with this dynamic code, event.url in Klaviyo. This is going to be available in the default browse abandonment flow, so you could as you're making the flows, you could load the browse abandonment and then customize it from there. And then it's going to have the default dynamic product block. From there, just save it as a universal block. So that's the call to action button. And you want to make sure that it links dynamically to the last item that they were looking at, because that's going to be, the highest chance of converting them. And then below that, you're going to have your infographics containing unique selling points, pain points, social proof, etc. In this case, we're focusing on unique selling points that differentiate the brand from the competitors. That's going to be the most sort of relevant info to somebody who's, searching between competitors at this stage. All right, so in the following slides, I've provided some examples of browse abandonment emails that we built, organized by their place in the flow. So I'm going to recommend that you use these either as inspiration to build your own browse abandonment emails, basically just giving you an idea of what the optimal browse emails look like, and then from there you can make your own. I'd also recommend building your emails in the template section in Klaviyo. In the following section, I will show you the most efficient way to use these templates to build the flow. All right, moving on. Email 1, so here's an example. So this is from one of our clients. So basically just headline at the top, we have the logo up here, and this is sort of optional, but you could also have, free shipping on orders over $50, etc. Short body text, dynamic product block, call to action, linking to the dynamic product that they were looking at. Then down here, we have the unique selling points of the brand. Email example 2. So pretty similar here. The only difference is we're giving them a 10% off. I want to restate the 10% off down here as well. Dynamic product block. And over here, we have the social proof. So pretty similar. Obviously, the design's a little bit different just to keep things sort of interesting. Email 3, this one's pretty much the same thing, just giving 15% off. Expires in 24 hours. So inserting some urgency there. Hero image, short body text, 15%. Give them their dynamic code, dynamic product block. Then we have call to action button. Email 4, same thing. We're just, really emphasizing the urgency in this situation, which is, your 15% off code. You have 4 hours left. So it's basically now or never. Otherwise, you got to buy it out full price in the future. Yeah, as you can see, all of these are pretty similar. They all follow that structure. And the reason why is we've A/B tested a bunch of different structures, different variations. And this one's the one that converts the best. Here's some more examples. So email 1 example, again, not giving any discount here, just showing them product they were looking at and giving them a reminder. Same thing, we're just giving them some social proof, showing that the brand/product is legit and giving them 10% off. Email 3, all right, 10% off. So this one's a little bit different and it's gonna vary by brand in terms of what performs the best. So in this case, we're actually doing the small discount plus urgency, which in this case is 4 hours left. 10% off, it's expiring in 4 hours, all right? Email example 4, all right? So we increased the offer to 12% off, also using some urgency here, 24 hours. And yeah, so those are the browse flow email examples. Here is a swipe flow of browse abandonment emails. So these are our best performing browse emails that you could use as inspiration or templates for your own brand. If you have a Figma account, you could just go in here, duplicate it so that you have your own and you could edit it and all of that. And then from there, you could either make your browse email alongside of it, or you could just edit ours and just swap out the different pieces. But the link to this document is going to be in the description of this video here, so feel free to grab that. All right, A/B testing. So once you've set up the flow in Klaviyo, the next step is to set up your initial A/B test to maximize the conversion rate of your flow as it collects data. So the more sort of recipients that come into your flow and receive the email, you want to be running A/B tests so that over time you can see what variables are causing it to convert better and which ones are less effective. All right, so the most important variables to A/B test are going to be time delay, how quickly does it send the first email after the flow is triggered, subject line / preview text, the offer, whether it's percentage off, cashback using the Fondue app, dollar off, free shipping, or gift with purchase. You want to be testing those out. Email structure, so it's going to be hero image, social proof, risk reversals. Really just testing out what type of content resonates the best in terms of influencing the conversion rate. For instance, sometimes not having a hero image works the best. Sometimes having it be fully plain text works the best. Sometimes having long form copy works the best. You really just gotta test it out a little bit. Coupon code format, so dynamic versus static, auto applied at checkout versus manually having to copy and paste it at checkout. You want to be playing around with that because there's a lot of different options for delivering the coupon code. Here are some examples of the A/B variations of the above tests. So I don't know how well you could see this here on this video, but like I mentioned, you can get access to this doc right here, and you'll be able to take a look at these. All right, the important metrics to pay attention to. So the most important metric to gauge performance is obviously sales. That's our main goal here, which is going to be the placed order value. Now, I know there's a lot of people in this email marketing space who are like, oh, like the emails don't affect the placed order rate. That's only affected by the landing page. That is completely wrong. Obviously the people who come to the landing page are going to be primed by whatever they read on the email. So obviously the most important metric here is sales. It's not open rates nor click rates. Those are more so secondary metrics to sort of give you an idea if something's broken or, how it's performing relative to the rest of your emails, but by no means is, are we optimizing for things like click rate. All right. So if one variation has higher sales but lower open / click rate, then the variation with the higher sales wins, is basically what that means. And then open / click rate only really matter if sales are roughly equal. All right, so in the image below, the placed order value highlighted in red represents the primary metric that we're using to gauge performance. So when you're running an A/B test, you're going to see all these different metrics. The main things that we want to pay attention to here are going to be these placed order values, as well as the number of people who purchased divided by the number of deliveries. That's going to give us our placed order rate. So in this example, variation A has placed order value of 2200, which is much higher than variation B's placed order rate of 800. So variation A clearly wins here. We're comparing these two numbers. Highlighted in blue is the number of people who placed an order and the number of deliveries. We're going to use that to calculate the conversion rate. In this example, conversion rate on variation A would be, 20 people who purchased divided by 1,038 deliveries. So 1.92% of people who received the email became a customer is essentially what that means. So the conversion rate on variation B would be 7 people who purchased divided by 808 deliveries. So that would end up being 0.87% conversion rate. Variation A obviously has a much higher conversion rate than variation B. So A wins here too. So that's how you assess these A/B tests. And sometimes you're going to have an A/B test where it's not very conclusive. That's fine too. You just want to make sure you have enough deliveries where you can conclude that it was inconclusive. Write it down so you don't test it again in the future because, obviously whatever variable you're testing didn't make much of a difference, and move on to the next test. All right, so there's a few factors to consider when deciding when to end a test. So statistical significance level, this is basically how confident we can be that the winning variation is winning due to the specific variable that we're testing and not a fluke. So generally speaking, a significance level of p less than 0.05 is ideal. Now, you don't really need to know what this whole p-value stuff means. But I'm going to show you a website that basically calculates all this stuff for you. And then store traffic, if you have a lower store traffic, then obviously you're going to have to accept a lower sort of likelihood that the test was due to the variable that you're testing. Basically, you're going to have to accept a lower confidence interval for your A/B tests. If you want to be efficient with the amount of time that you're using to A/B test different things. All right, so I recommend using this website right here, VWO. Basically, and you just plug in your number. So number of visitors, number of conversions is going to give you a p-value, and basically the lower that it is, the higher confidence level that you have that your test is significant. All right, so just play around with that, practice it, because it's going to be your optimal confidence level. It's going to be unique to each store, depending, like I said, on the store traffic. So you just got to play around with it, and you'll figure it out for your store over time. All right, so this is the sort of thing that'll give you on the website, and it'll even give you the probability to be the best. Basically, anything over 90% is probably like pretty good. Over time, you're gonna have some pretty significant improvements if you only end the test after 90%. But like I said, you got to play around with it a little bit. All right, step-by-step action plan. How do you actually take everything that I gave you here and apply it to your store? So step one, build a strategy based on this section of the document. So that's going to be the flow strategy. Like I said, I'm going to give you access to this document in the description. So you're going to be able to go here and, click through the document. But essentially, you need to decide how many emails you want to have in your flow. So anywhere from 4 to 6 is optimal, depending on your list size plus audience responsiveness. Also, decide what offers you want to give for each email. So you're going to need to have one smaller offer, for example, 10% off, one larger offer, 15% off. So just figure out what you want to offer there. Could be, 10%, and with the larger offer of 12%, like I showed you. All right, step 2, create the email designs in your design platform of choice. Obviously, I recommend Figma according to the Browse Flow email structure section as a guide. All right, so basically just use those examples that I gave you of emails that we have for our clients and just replace the different sections with hero image and different copy for your brand specifically. Step 3, you're going to want to upload the email designs from Figma into the template section of Klaviyo. And once you've written and designed the emails and have them set up in Klaviyo, optimize the conversion rate of the flow over time by following the A/B testing instructions in this section here. And that's all for this video. Thanks so much for watching this video here about the Browse Abandonment flow. I also have some in-depth tutorials on how to set up the other important flows like the post-purchase, abandoned cart, etc. So if you want to learn how to set those up and optimize them, check out these videos here.